Hey everyone, it's Jaden here at SpeedCubeShop.com, and in today's video, I'm going to be giving our full in-depth review on the GAN 14 maglev. So first things first, let's talk about the unboxing experience. In my opinion, I like this way more than I like the GAN 13's unboxing experience. It's way more simplistic. It's got this really nice, very calm design here, and all you have to do to open it up is just pull on this little tab, slide it out, and then you have everything you need right there. So there's no magnets, it's not over the top. Honestly, I think this is the best packaging that we've seen from the GAN flagships. So what we get inside is the GAN credit card here, along with the cube case that comes with the cube and the accessories box. So first, let's go over the items inside the accessories box. So first off, we have a new tool. We have the GAN cube bag, a card for their CubeStation app, and a couple of pamphlets here. So this is the new cube case design. It looks pretty similar to the 13, however, there are no magnets. You just press the GAN logo on the front and it just pops open and there's the cube. There is, however, a nice sneaky little secret compartment at the bottom, which has the metal tool from the 13 along with some extra magnet rods. With all that out of the way, we can finally move on to the cube itself. At a quick glance, this cube looks very similar to the previous flagships. However, there are a couple of internal differences that make this stand out. The biggest change and the most notable feature for the 14 are the adjustable edge magnets. There are a couple of more differences, but I will touch on those when we get there. There are a couple more similarities when it comes to the adjustment features, but I'm about to go over all those right now, so let's dive right into it. Starting off with the dual adjustment system, we can see that it looks very similar to the GAN 13. It's just a little bit smaller. The top ring here affects the center travel, which is essentially how pop resistant it is or how well it can corner cut, and the bottom ring affects the tensions or how tight or how loose the cube is. You can make these adjustments using the new blue tool, which I'm going to refer as the fire hydrant tool, or you can use the metal tool that also came with the GAN 13. Since I've already used the metal tool when going over the GAN 13, I'm going to be using the fire hydrant tool just so you guys know how to use it. To make adjustments to the top ring, you're going to find the side on the tool that is closest to these little knobs here, which is the shortest side. It has a couple of little notches in there that are going to line up with these grooves on the top ring. So you're going to line them up with the grooves, push down lightly, and just turn clockwise. And just remember, setting 1 is the tightest setting or the least amount of corner cutting with the most pop resistance, and setting 6 is the opposite end, which is the most amount of corner cutting with the least amount of pop resistance. To make adjustments to the bottom ring, which again is the tensions, with setting 1 being the loosest setting and setting 6 being the tightest, you're gonna take the opposite end of the tool, the one with these little bumps here at the bottom. You're going to stick them between the little spokes on the bottom ring, and again, just turn clockwise. So that is it for the dual adjustment. Now we're gonna move on to the adjustable edge magnets. To make these adjustments, you can use the fire hydrant tool. However, it's just a little bit easier to use the metallic tool, just so you can kind of see the numbers a little bit better. So there are 3 settings, with 3 being the highest setting or the strongest strength and 1 being the loosest. The numbers are a little hard to see, so I recommend just memorizing that 3 is the furthest away from the core and 1 is the closest to it. Or you can think about it as 3 being on top and 1 being on bottom. To make the adjustments, you just take this little metal tool, stick it in the groove, and just move it up or down to your desired setting. You only have to make the adjustment on one side per edge, so instead of making 24 adjustments, you only need to make 12. Now let's move on to the adjustable corner magnets. So this system is exactly the same as the 13. It's got this little dial with 6 different settings, an arrow telling you which direction to go, and it pretty much just changes the distance between the magnetic core and these little core rods here. So setting 6 is the strongest setting and setting 1 is the weakest, and all you have to do is take your little metallic tool. Again, you can use the fire hydrant tool just for the sake of being able to see the numbers a lot easier. It's just better to use the metallic tool. All you're gonna do is take the tool, fit it inside the grooves, and just point in the direction the arrow tells you to. So there is another adjustment feature when it comes to the corners. However, I first wanna point out something with the corner base. So this is one of the differences that I said I'd point out later. So if you look at the corner base here, you can see that it has these holes in it. The holes are something that did not appear on the GAN 13, however they did appear on the GAN 12. And if you remember when the GAN 12 was first released, there was this kind of big internal catching issue which they did end up fixing later, which is something that also occurs with the GAN 14. There's a big internal catching issue, which is something I'll go over when I talk about my final thoughts on the 14. Getting back on track with adjustment features, you can actually swap out the magnet rods here with the ones that came in the secret compartment. For this, you will have to use the fire hydrant tool. You take the knob, put it on the magnet rod, turn counterclockwise, and just pull it out slowly, like that. Now you're gonna grab one of the other magnet rods. The light blue ones happen to be the weaker magnet strength, and the ones that come with the cube, the white ones, are the stronger magnet strength. Now to insert the magnet rod, you're pretty much just gonna do the exact opposite of what you just did. You're going to stick it inside the corner here. Come on. And you're just gonna turn clockwise to lock it in place and pull the tool off, and there you go, you're done. So that is all for the adjustment features, which means we can now reassemble our cube here. Now I can go over my final thoughts on the performance and feel of the cube. So overall, this cube is pretty good. However, the standard set by other flagships that have come out this year and the previous flagships from GAN, this cube is really underwhelming. The turning feel is light, airy, and fast like you would expect from GAN. However, there's this really noticeable catching issue that is happening somehow internally. It really reminds me of the same issue that we had with the GAN 12. I know with the GAN 12 that they did fix it upon later batches. However, as of right now, this is still an issue for the GAN 14. Hopefully they will fix it later on down the road. The cube has a lot of customization, which is really nice. You can really pinpoint an exact feel. Before I move on to the positive things, there is another issue with this cube, and it's that it pops a lot. I've done probably about 1,000 solves on this cube, and it's surprising how often this cube will pop when turning at a fast speed. It's crazy because the corner cutting is, relatively decent. Reverse is line to line with no issue, and you could probably go a little bit further than that. But forward corner cutting maxes out at about 45 degrees. Any more than that, and you risk the cube popping. Like that. To try and prevent this, I tightened up the cube. However, even when the cube was on the tightest settings, there were still moments where it did pop. And that sucks because that means I can't get good performance out of this cube without this cube popping. With the negatives out of the way, let's talk about some of the positives. This cube has a lot of customization. You can really pinpoint that exact feel that you're going for. I like to have a very controllable cube with strong magnets, and I can get exactly that with this cube. When the cube is not popping or locking up internally, this cube actually performs pretty well. It has that nice classic airy light feel that the other GAN cubes have, which is really nice. And again, when it's not having those issues, the performance is really good, and I've gotten some pretty fast times. I've gotten multiple 6s, multiple 7s, and I think if those two main issues were fixed, you would have a really, really good cube. I think overall, again, this is a good cube. However, it doesn't quite live up to the standard I think we all held for it. I've heard a lot of people say that it's not as good as the 12, but it is better than the 13. But I'm gonna have to disagree with that. I think the 13 is better than the 14 just because it has those two big major issues, which the 13 does not have, at least from what I've experienced. With all of that said, if you wanna buy this cube, there are two different versions, a frosted and a UV coated version. Frosted is $77.95 at SpeedCubeShop.com, and the UV coated version is $87.95 at SpeedCubeShop.com. Anyways, that is it for this video and the full review and my opinions and thoughts on this cube. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like and make sure to subscribe, and leave a comment down below letting us know your thoughts on the GAN 14. Do you think it's better than the 13? Do you think it's better than the 12? Where do you think it lands on the spectrum of recent GAN flagship releases? Again, that's all for this video. Thank you guys for supporting the shop. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.